Hello everyone, and welcome to the English Talk AI. Today, we are going to learn English.
Era's journey to Italy, learning English through travel and food. Era had always dreamed of visiting Italy. She had spent many evenings imagining the winding streets of Rome, the colorful markets of Florence, and the delicious smells of Italian cuisine. Now, at 42, she finally booked her trip. Her heart was full of excitement and curiosity. She wanted to learn more than just sightseeing. She wanted to understand the culture, practice English, and explore food like a local. The plane touched down in Rome on a bright morning. Era felt a mixture of relief and thrill. The sky was clear and the gentle sun warmed her face. She collected her luggage and walked through the airport with careful steps, trying not to get lost among the busy travelers. She spoke softly to herself, repeating simple English phrases she had practiced. "Excuse me? Where is the taxi? Thank you." Even these small phrases made her feel proud. She found a taxi and told the driver the address of her hotel. He nodded and started driving, speaking in Italian, which Era could not understand. She smiled and replied in English, hoping that gestures and tone would help him understand. The city passed by like a painting. Old buildings, narrow streets, and little cafes spilling out onto the sidewalks. Era felt alive. She had imagined this moment for years, and now it was real. After checking into her hotel and leaving her bags in the room, Era felt her stomach rumble. She realized she hadn't eaten since the airplane breakfast. She decided to take a walk to find some food. The streets were alive with people, and the air smelled sweet with freshly baked bread and coffee. Era's eyes scanned the storefronts, looking for something that seemed friendly and easy to order.
She entered a small cafe. The aroma of espresso and pastries welcomed her. The menu was in Italian, and she paused, trying to read it. She had learned a few words before traveling. Panino for sandwich, caffè for coffee, acqua for water. But she felt nervous. How would she order? Her English phrases were ready, but she did not know if the staff spoke English. She remembered her teacher's advice. Be polite, speak slowly, and smile. People understand kindness. A young woman behind the counter greeted her with a warm smile. Era took a deep breath and spoke slowly. Hello, excuse me, I am hungry. Can I have something simple, please? The woman nodded and pointed to a picture on the menu. Era smiled, relieved. She repeated the word slowly. Panino. Yes, panino, please. The woman asked a few questions in Italian, and Era listened carefully. She shook her head or nodded when she could, and used simple English words like yes or no. Soon her order was ready. Sitting at a small table by the window, Era looked at her sandwich and a small salad. She felt proud. She had communicated. The taste was better than she expected. The bread was soft, the filling fresh, and the flavors simple but delicious. She took small bites and thought about how language connected her to the world. Even with just a few words, she had bridged a gap between herself and the stranger behind the counter. After finishing her meal, Era decided to walk around the neighborhood. The sun was higher now, and the streets were full of locals and tourists alike. She saw a small market and decided to explore. Colorful fruits and vegetables were displayed in wooden crates. She paused at a stand with fresh tomatoes and peppers. She wanted to practice more English and Italian. She remembered phrases from her guidebook. Quanto costa means how much. She smiled and tried, "Excuse me, how much is this?" The vendor looked at her surprised, but then laughed and repeated slowly in English, €2. Era smiled and said, "Thank you." She felt a small thrill. Each interaction was a small victory. Era continued her walk, imagining the stories of the people she passed. A man selling flowers waved at her. Children ran by laughing. An elderly woman sat outside a cafe, knitting. Era realized that travel was more than visiting monuments. It was living in the everyday moments of others, and learning to communicate was part of that experience. She thought about how learning English had helped her already. Simple words, slow speech, and kindness could open doors anywhere in the world. As the afternoon passed, Era found herself at a small piazza with a fountain in the center. People were sitting, chatting, and enjoying gelato. Era wanted to try gelato too. She walked to a small gelateria and looked at the colorful display. Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, pistachio. She wanted to taste something she had never tried before. She asked, slowly, "Hello, can I have pistachio gelato, please?" The man behind the counter smiled and nodded. Soon she had a small cup of ice cream, rich in flavor and creamy in texture. She took a bite and closed her eyes, savoring the taste. The world felt full of small joys. Era noticed a family nearby speaking English. She decided to practice. "Hello, my name is Era. I am visiting Italy. It is my first time here," she said softly. The family smiled and responded warmly. They shared tips about places to visit and how to find good restaurants. Era listened and repeated their words slowly, practicing pronunciation. Each word she spoke gave her confidence. She realized that travel and language learning went hand in hand. Learning English was not just in the classroom, but in real moments with real people. Walking back toward her hotel, Era thought about the day. She had flown across the world, communicated in a new language, eaten delicious food, and felt the pulse of a foreign city. She had faced uncertainty, small moments of confusion, and even fear, but she had overcome them with courage and patience. She understood that every new word she learned, every polite smile, every simple sentence mattered. Learning English was part of her adventure, and Italy was teaching her lessons she would never forget. That evening, back in her hotel room, Era sat by the window looking at the city lights. She opened a small notebook and wrote about her experiences: the taxi driver, the cafe, the market, the gelato, and the family she had spoken to. She wrote simple sentences in English, practicing words she had used that day. She felt proud. She realized that learning a language was like tasting a new flavor. At first, it is unfamiliar, but slowly it becomes part of your life, bringing joy and connection. Before sleeping, Era planned for tomorrow. She wanted to visit a famous museum and then practice ordering food again at a different restaurant. She smiled to herself, excited for the adventure. She had learned that hunger was not just about food. It was also about curiosity, learning, and reaching out to others with words. She closed her eyes, ready for another day of discovery, language, and the simple joys of travel.
If you really learn English, please like, share, and subscribe.